I walked into the restaurant, feeling nervous. I smoothed down my dress and tried to smile. Tonight was Kayla's engagement party. My younger sister, the one who always seemed to have everything together, was getting married. I was 35, still single, and once again attending a family event alone. My mom spotted me from across the room and waved. "Daisy, you made it." I nodded and walked over, holding tightly onto my purse. Inside were 2 first-class plane tickets to the Caribbean, a gift I was proud of. I had used the money I saved from my cancelled wedding to buy them for Kayla and her fiancé, Brian. "Hey, Mom," I said, hugging her briefly. "Where are Kayla and Brian?" "Over by the bar. Go say hello. Everyone's here, Aunt Linda, Aunt Sarah, all your cousins." She paused and gave me a quick look. "That dress is interesting." I swallowed hard. I didn't say anything. It had been 3 months since I caught Eric, my fiancé of 2 years, kissing Kayla's friend Megan outside our house. I still remembered how much it hurt. "I'm going to get a drink," I said quietly and walked off. The evening moved on. I chatted with relatives I hadn't seen in a while and tried to avoid any questions about my love life. I watched Kayla and Brian smiling and laughing as everyone congratulated them. Kayla looked perfect, as always. During dinner, I sat between Aunt Linda and my cousin Jessica. The food was good, and the champagne helped me relax a little. Then Kayla stood up to give a toast. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight," she said sweetly. "Brian and I feel so lucky to be surrounded by people we love." Everyone smiled. I lifted my glass, ready to cheer with the others. But then she turned toward me. "And I especially want to thank my sister, Daisy," she said with a grin. "My loser sister, who will probably stay single forever because guys keep running away from her." Suddenly, everything went quiet. My hand froze midair. My smile disappeared. Then someone giggled. Then more people laughed. The whole room burst out laughing, at me. I felt frozen. My mother's voice rang out. "Oh, honey, don't be so sensitive. It's not like you've been dumped 5 times. Twice isn't so bad." Laughter again. My face burned. I looked down, trying not to cry. "Maybe you're the problem, Daisy," Jessica whispered beside me. "When you get dumped more than once," Aunt Linda added, "it usually means something's wrong with you." "I know a great therapist," Aunt Sarah chimed in. "She helped me during my divorce. Want her number?" Even my cousin Mark joined in. "You always dress a little weird. Maybe that's why men leave." I looked around. I was hoping someone, anyone, would defend me. But no one did. Then I looked at Kayla. She was smiling, smirking, like this whole thing was a joke to her. That's when something inside me broke. I stood up. My chair made a loud scraping sound. The room went silent. I walked over to Kayla and Brian without saying a word. I opened my purse and took out the 2 first-class plane tickets. Kayla's eyes went wide. She recognized them. Then, slowly and without looking away from her, I tore them in half, then again, and again, until the small pieces of paper floated down onto her dinner plate. "Daisy," my mother gasped, "what are you doing?" I didn't say a word. I turned and walked toward the door. "Come back here right now," Mom shouted. "You're acting like a child." I didn't turn back. I kept walking, head held high, even though my legs were shaking. I pushed open the doors and stepped out into the cool night air. I took a deep breath, the first real breath I'd taken all night. As I walked to my car, I remembered the night I caught Eric cheating. I had come home early from work. When I pulled into the driveway, my headlights lit up 2 people standing by the side of the house. It was Eric and Megan, kissing. Megan didn't even act sorry. "It's been happening for weeks," she said calmly. "You were going to find out eventually." Eric begged me to forgive him. He said it was a mistake and would never happen again. But I ended the engagement the next day. I canceled everything, the venue, the flowers, the dress. It was over. I drove home from the party in silence, tears falling down my cheeks. When I got home, I kicked off my heels, threw my purse on the couch, and sat down. My heart felt heavy. My phone buzzed with messages from Kayla. The first one said, "Daisy, please call me back. It was just a joke." The second, "Were those the plane tickets? Please tell me you didn't cancel anything." The third, "I already started packing. We can talk this out. Don't cancel the trip." I stared at the messages and let out a bitter laugh. Now she cared, now that the gift was gone. I opened my laptop and logged into the travel site. I canceled everything, the hotel, the flights. A few clicks and it was done. The confirmation popped up. I took a screenshot and sent it to Kayla. No gift, no trip, everything is cancelled. My phone rang. Kayla, then Mom, then Aunt Linda. I ignored them all, then I turned off my phone completely. 2 days later, I heard a knock at the door. I looked through the peephole and saw my parents and Kayla. I wanted to pretend I wasn't home, but they had already seen my car. I opened the door. "We need to talk," Mom said, walking right in. Dad followed without saying a word. Kayla looked like she was trying to seem sorry. I stood with my arms crossed as they sat on the couch. "I'm sorry about what happened at the party," Kayla said. "I was trying to be funny. I didn't mean to hurt you." I didn't respond. Then my mother spoke again. "Daisy, since you're not getting married anymore, you must still have that wedding money saved. We think it would be nice if you helped pay for Kayla's wedding." I blinked. Surely, I had heard that wrong. But Mom kept talking. "You were planning a big wedding, right? You probably saved a lot. Kayla's day could be beautiful with that money." They took my silence as a yes and started talking more. "I was thinking of the Willowbrook estate," Kayla said, not even looking at me. "It's the same venue you booked." "Perfect," Mom said, "and with Daisy's money, we can finally get that designer dress. The one with the beads," Kayla added. "I have a few picked out. Vera Wong would be perfect." And just like that, they started planning Kayla's wedding, with my money, while I stood there, completely ignored. They had no shame, no kindness, no respect. And I had finally had enough. At first, I couldn't even react. I was just frozen, standing there in my own home, as my parents and sister sat around the table, laughing like everything was perfectly normal, like nothing had happened. But deep inside, something was changing. The shock that held me silent slowly turned into a quiet anger. And then, like a slow boil finally reaching its peak, that anger overflowed. "Get out," I said, my voice calm, slow, but firm. They stopped talking and looked up at me, clearly surprised. For a moment, it seemed like they'd forgotten I was even there. "What did you say?" Mom asked, her eyebrows drawing together. I said, "Get out, now, all of you." I walked over to the door and opened it wide. "Daisy, you're being ridiculous," Dad said with a frown. "Stop this nonsense." "No," I said, my voice rising just enough. "You won't get a single cent from me, not anymore, and honestly, now I'm the one laughing at all of you." I turned to face them fully. I had been holding in so much for so long, and suddenly, it was all spilling out. "I'm done paying your bills. No more money for house repairs or helping with the car. No more emergency transfers, nothing." Then I looked straight at Kayla. "And you," I said, my voice shaking with truth. "No more help with your college tuition. No more rent money when you're between jobs. No more makeup, gas money, or shopping trips just until next week. It's over, all of it." The room erupted. Everyone started talking at once. There was yelling, accusations. My mother cried. Kayla called me selfish. My father said I was tearing the family apart. But I didn't move. I didn't cry. I just held the door open until they finally left, one by one, still shouting as I slammed the door behind them. And then, for the first time in what felt like years, I exhaled, really exhaled. My body felt lighter, my chest less tight. It was like finally breathing fresh air after being trapped in a smoke-filled room. But peace didn't last long. The next day, my phone started ringing non-stop. Aunt Linda called to tell me to be the bigger person. Uncle Robert reminded me that family means making sacrifices. Cousin Jessica went so far as to say I was too old for marriage anyway, and that it made more sense for me to support Kayla and her future children. Each time, I listened for a moment and then calmly said, "If you bring up Kayla again, I will cut off all contact." And then I either blocked their number or stopped replying. Some even admitted that my mother had pressured them to call. That didn't surprise me at all. But what did surprise me was how right it all felt. Even with the backlash and the guilt-tripping, standing up for myself felt like something I should have done years ago, like draining a wound that had been poisoned for far too long. A few weeks passed, and I threw myself into my work. Accounting was dull to some, but to me, it felt safe, predictable, comforting. The numbers made sense, unlike the twisted chaos of my family. And for a while, My phone was quiet. I started to enjoy the silence. I was healing, slowly. Then, one afternoon, my phone rang again. This time, it was a number I didn't recognize. I answered cautiously. Hello? It was Mom. Her voice was different, quieter, almost shaky. We need to talk, she said. Come to the house tomorrow evening, please. I didn't answer right away, but I knew I'd go, not because I missed them, but because I had something they didn't know I had. A secret, a truth. After hanging up, I made another call, this one to someone I never thought I'd speak to again, Megan. After the disaster at Kayla's engagement party, Megan had reached out. She'd sent me a quiet, heartfelt apology. We met for coffee one day, and during that conversation, she'd told me something that had changed everything. Now it was time to bring that truth into the light. The next evening, I drove to my parents' house. Megan sat beside me, looking nervous, tugging at her sleeves. Are you sure about this? She asked as we pulled into the driveway. I'm sure, I said, just tell them what you told me. Mom answered the door, her usual fake smile fading quickly when she saw Megan beside me. Inside, Dad, Kayla, and Kayla's fiancé, Brian, were already seated in the living room. Kayla's face went pale when she saw Megan. What is she doing here? She asked, voice rising. She's my guest, I replied, calm as ever. You wanted a conversation, so let's talk. Kayla straightened up, her eyes narrowing slightly before she slipped into that overly sweet tone I knew too well. Daisy, I'm really sorry about what happened at the engagement party, she said. I was stressed and trying to be funny. I just wanted to cheer you up. I thought if I could make you mad, maybe it would help you start living again. I almost laughed. Her words sounded like they came from some online guide about how to fake an apology. Before I could say anything, Mom jumped in. Your sister has apologized. Let's put all this behind us. It's time to move forward. Actually, I said slowly, that's not why I brought Megan. I wanted her to tell you something important. I turned to Megan, who took a deep breath. Until recently, I was Kayla's friend, she began, her voice soft but clear, but I can't stay quiet anymore. Kayla told me to seduce Eric. The room went still. She didn't want Daisy to get married before her. She said she needed to ruin the engagement. She planned it. Silence. Brian turned to Kayla, confusion all over his face. Kayla opened her mouth, then closed it. She didn't speak. I looked at my parents. Well, I asked, now do you see who she really is? For a moment, I expected them to be outraged, to finally understand. Instead, Mom just blinked and said, well, these things happen. Maybe it was for the best. She just sped things up. Dad nodded. What's done is done. Let's move on. I stared at them. They weren't even shocked. They were brushing off the fact that their younger daughter had intentionally destroyed my life. It was like she had only spilled a drink, not sabotaged a wedding. You still don't get it, I said quietly. You deserve each other. I stood up. But I don't deserve this. I'm done. I'm done with all of you. I walked out. Megan silently walking beside me. Outside, I thanked her for telling the truth. We hugged, briefly. We weren't best friends, but we were survivors of the same storm, and now free from it. In the weeks that followed, I followed through on my decision. I blocked numbers, ignored emails, and deleted old photos. I shut the door on that chapter of my life. It wasn't easy. I had moments of doubt, nights where I cried, days where I wondered if I had overreacted. But then I remembered the smirks, the betrayal, the way they excused it all. I focused on rebuilding. I joined a book club. I tried rock climbing, terrifying, but fun. I even took a solo trip to the coast and watched the sunrise in complete silence. I started therapy with someone who truly understood family trauma and toxic relationships. 4 months later, I got a message from my cousin Ryan, the only one I hadn't cut off. Thought you'd want to know. Kayla's wedding happened last weekend. Small thing at the community center. Your parents paid for everything. I read the message, then I put down my phone. I felt nothing, no anger, no sadness, not even relief. Just peace, calm, quiet peace. And for the first time, I knew I had made the right choice.